Imagine just for a moment that the entire world comes to a halt. What if suddenly time stopped for exactly 1 hour? Everything and everyone frozen in place. No ticking clocks, no moving cars, not even a single leaf fluttering in the wind. In this video, we'll explore the mind-bending consequences of such an event. From the laws of physics to the impact on daily life, let's dive into what would really happen if time itself pressed pause for 60 minutes. Understand what happens when time stops. We first need to grasp what time actually is. Time is a fundamental dimension, much like space. It's the measure of change, the sequence of events from past to future. Without time, nothing can move, change, or even exist as we know it. So if time were to stop, would everything simply freeze or would reality itself unravel? Let's break down the basics before we imagine the impossible. Picture yourself walking down the street when, suddenly, everything around you stops. People mid-step, birds in flight, cars on the road, all motionless. If you were somehow immune to the time freeze, you'd be the only one moving in a world stuck in a single moment. The silence would be overwhelming and the stillness almost eerie. It's a scenario straight out of science fiction, but what would it really feel like to be the only person awake in a paused world? Let's talk about physics. When time stops, all motion ceases. That means atoms stop vibrating, light stops traveling, and even sound can't move. The air itself would be frozen, making it impossible to breathe or even see since light wouldn't reach your eyes. In reality, if time truly stopped, the universe as we know it would be locked in place and nothing could function, not even your own body. If you were the only one not affected by the time stop, you face a big problem breathing. Air is made of molecules constantly moving, but with time stopped, those molecules would freeze too. No air would enter your lungs and you'd quickly run out of oxygen. Even the simple act of blinking or moving your muscles would be impossible since your body relies on time to function. Light travels through space over time. If time stops, light can't move, which means everything would instantly go dark. No sunlight, no artificial lights, just complete blackness. Even if your eyes were open, you wouldn't see anything because light wouldn't reach your retinas. The world would be plunged into a strange, silent darkness, making the experience even more surreal. Sound is created by vibrations moving through air. With time stopped, those vibrations freeze and all sound disappears. Imagine a world where not even your footsteps make a noise. The silence would be absolute, deeper than anything you've ever experienced. It's a quiet that's almost impossible to imagine, where even your own heartbeat would be silent. Gravity is a force that acts over time. If time stops, gravity stops too. That means everything, people, cars, even water would hang in place, suspended in midair. Raindrops would freeze before hitting the ground and nothing would fall or move. The world would look like a snapshot, with every object stuck exactly where it was when time stopped. All technology depends on time. Clocks stop ticking, computers freeze, and even your phone won't work. Electricity can't flow and digital screens freeze on their last image. The world's entire infrastructure, transportation, communication, and power would be instantly paralyzed. It's a reminder of how much we rely on the constant flow of time for everything to function. Not just humans, but all animals and plants would be frozen too. Birds would hang in the sky, fish would stop swimming, and trees would stand perfectly still. Even the wind would stop blowing and rivers would freeze mid-flow. Nature's constant motion would be paused, creating a world that's both beautiful and unsettling. Weather is always changing, but with time stopped, clouds, rain, and storms would freeze in place. Lightning would hang in the sky and snowflakes would be suspended midair. The ever-changing sky would become a still painting, capturing a single moment in time for an entire hour. Rivers, oceans, and waterfalls would all freeze instantly. Waves would stop crashing and water droplets would hang in the air. The world's water cycle would be put on hold, creating surreal scenes of suspended motion everywhere you look. Cars, trains, planes, and ships would all stop in their tracks. A plane might be stuck mid-flight, a car halfway through an intersection, and a train frozen on the tracks. The world's movement would come to a sudden, dramatic halt, with every form of transportation locked in place. Imagine food cooking on a stove or bread rising in the oven. With time stopped, all cooking processes would freeze. Flames would hang motionless and nothing would burn or boil. Even the act of eating would be impossible, as chewing and swallowing require the passage of time. Every conversation would be cut off mid-sentence. People talking, laughing, or arguing would be frozen with their mouths open, words hanging in the air. Communication, both spoken and written, would be impossible, as sound and movement require time to exist. Emotions are expressed through movement and sound, smiles, tears, laughter. With time stopped, all emotional expressions would be frozen on people's faces. A world of unmoving faces, each locked in a single emotion, would be both fascinating and unsettling to witness. The internet, social media, and all digital communication would freeze. No new posts, messages, or updates. Websites would be stuck on their last loaded page, and online games would pause mid-action. The digital world would be as still as the physical one. Banks, stock markets, and all financial transactions would halt. No money would move, no trades would happen, and the global economy would pause. For 1 hour, the world's financial systems would be in perfect balance, nothing gained, nothing lost. Hospitals, surgeries, and all medical processes would freeze. Doctors and nurses would be stuck mid-action, and patients would be frozen in their beds. Even the healing process would stop, as cells and medicines rely on time to work. Imagine a soccer game, a basketball match, or a marathon all frozen mid-action. Athletes would be stuck in their most dramatic poses, and the excitement of the game would be paused. For 1 hour, every sport in the world would be on hold, creating a living snapshot of competition. Artists painting, musicians playing, and writers typing would all be frozen mid-creation. The creative process, which relies on the flow of time, would be interrupted. Unfinished works would remain exactly as they are, waiting for time to start again. Classrooms, lectures, and online courses would all freeze. Teachers and students would be stuck mid-lesson, and learning would come to a halt. For 1 hour, the pursuit of knowledge would be put on hold, with every book and screen paused in time. Offices, factories, and all workplaces would freeze. Meetings would be paused, emails unsent, and projects put on hold. The world of business would experience a rare moment of complete stillness, with every task waiting for time to resume. Travelers in airports, train stations, and bus stops would be frozen mid-journey. Suitcases would be left unattended, and tickets would never be checked. The world's movement would be paused, with every destination waiting for time to start again. Families at home, pets playing, and meals being prepared would all be frozen in place. The warmth and activity of home life would be paused, creating a still scene of everyday moments. For 1 hour, every home would be perfectly still. Forests, mountains, and oceans would all be frozen in time. Animals would be caught mid-movement, and plants would stop growing. The natural world, usually full of life and motion, would become a silent, unmoving landscape. After 1 hour, time would start again. Everything would resume exactly where it left off, as if nothing had happened. But for those who remember, the world would feel a little different, a reminder of how precious every moment really is. A world where time can stop makes us think deeply about our lives. What would you do if you had an hour outside of time? Would you use it to reflect, to rest, or to appreciate the world around you? The idea challenges our understanding of reality and reminds us to value the present. Stories about stopping time are popular in movies and books, but the reality is much more complex. Science tells us that time is woven into the fabric of the universe, and stopping it would have unimaginable consequences. Still, it's fun to imagine what could happen and to appreciate the science that keeps our world moving. In the end, the idea of time stopping for an hour is a powerful reminder to cherish every moment. Time is always moving forward, and every second is unique. So, while we can't pause reality, we can make the most of the time we have, living fully, appreciating the present, and making memories that last.